Welcome in to another episode of Day Trader Thoughts with Trades in the Dark. I got a great show lined up for you today. I'm going to show a video that really helped me a lot early on in my trading journey. And from time to time, I want to share videos, share books, share um, information from conferences that has helped me on this journey. So this is one of those things that really helped me. Now, this was a really hot topic a few years ago, especially during the pandemic. Should you quit your job to pursue trading? And Be the Trader is going to cover this. This video is a couple years older, but points still remain relevant because how I see it, all traders experience the same things. We just experience them at different times. So that's why trading content can be old and still be relevant to a trader depending on where they're at in their journey. So we have him here on the screen. His YouTube page is Be the Trader. The title of this video, if you want to watch it in full, is I Quit My Job 3 Times to Trade. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when I release new content. Sorry about that quick little pause. All right, so Be the Trader is a day trader that trades stocks. I don't believe he trades futures. I believe he short sells stocks and trades stocks. I believe that's what he was doing. When I would consume more of his content, that was his plan. He wasn't doing options. He wasn't doing futures. But like I was saying earlier, all traders experience the same things, just at different times. So this is true regardless of the market you trade, and you'll see that once we get into the video. All right, so just to go over a couple things or go over something, basically the main question of this episode that I want to be answered. I'm going to answer it, and then I also want you to, after reviewing the video, answer in the comments if you feel the same way as I do. Should you quit your job to pursue trading? This is an easy answer for me. The answer is no, you shouldn't. I did this, and it slowed my growth in the market probably by years. Considering 90% of all traders fail, I will never not express that because it's very important when making decisions that a majority of traders do fail. That could be my only argument because the odds are so far against you, but it's not. Because I quit my job to pursue trading, I did have money in the bank, but I didn't understand the market at all, and I definitely didn't understand the psychological side of the market, and that's where I set myself back the time because when you have small things weighing on you, your psychology in the market will be thrown off really easy. But now let's get to Be the Trader's video. Fair use, fair use. I will have to stop this video from time to time, get my feedback. If you currently trade and any of this resonates with you in your trading journey, let me know in the comments below. All right, let's get to the video.
You're the best day trader in the world. Boy, was I wrong. The first time I left my job, it was hard. It was the hardest decision because I was scared. Why am I leaving my career where I make consistent income in that I can rely on cold turkey to pursue something that I have no clue if I'm going to be good at or not? In this case, it's trading, but for you, it could be anything. It could be anything that you want to pursue. So I didn't just jump with no plan. I did have a plan. And my plan, in fact, was first, I need to get my finances in order. I had to make sure that my bills were paid, everything was taken care of, and then I could pursue trading with an actual chance of making it without the stress of having to make money right away. Now, I was thinking that way, and we'll get into what actually happens when I start trading.
I'm going to pause it real quick here. That's kind of what I was speaking of before. being able to trade without having to think about the financial implications, whether if you make money or you don't, your lifestyle still being taken care of. So he also mentions that as well.
It did not happen that way. But what helped me a lot is I actually decided, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and save up 6 months worth of income. And that was the initial plan. And I had this plan before I decided to leave my job. I always thought, you know what, if I ever wanna leave, I wanna make sure I have some income where I can find a new job. So I saved 6 months worth of income to pay all my bills, to pay everything, including how I lived my day-to-day life. So whatever that was for you, or for me in that case, I was very, very tired.
Gonna pause it here. In theory, that is a great plan. So what I did was when I decided to trade, I saved up a year worth of income, so I could easily, comfortably live at the exact same lifestyle for a year. So in theory, it sounds good. In theory, it makes a lot of sense. But you'll hear why everything doesn't go in theory.
And I wanted to make sure I could only use a little bit of money. And I only gave myself around $100 to spend for fun. So that's how strict I was because I wanted to save 6 months worth of bills. And then I decided that wasn't enough. I wanted a year's worth. I saved up a year's worth, and then that's when I felt ready to finally say, you know what, I think I can make a decision to leave somewhere. I was still scared, but you're not as scared when you know you could pay for yourself to live for a whole year because you can get a job pretty much anywhere. I mean, right now we got the great resignation going on, right? Where everyone is leaving their job. So this might be the best opportunity for you to figure out if you want to pursue something you really want to do, right? Because you could find jobs. That's not the problem. After I saved up a year's worth of income, my initial plan was to try to trade or do my side gig while I'm doing my main gig. And I tried doing that. I was in management, so I had to answer a lot of questions, I had to deal with a lot of people constantly. So it made it very difficult for me to multitask. And so that plan kind of got shot out really quick.
So you see, he had a plan. He wanted to juggle trading along with his main job that he was doing at the time. It didn't work. It didn't work. It's funny that I highlight this because then you might think, well, if he wasn't working, he could have just focused on trading. But that's not the answer either. He's going to say the answer a little bit later.
Right? Like I was like, this is not.
And actually, I'm going to speed this up. I listen to all videos at least on 1.5, so I'm going to go 1.25. Sorry if it's too fast for you. Just slow down my video so it'll be at a better pace for you. But I don't listen to any videos at
especially for
normal
trading,
speed.
you got to be really focused. You have to be focused. And so I said, you know what? I may be able to work from home. So I asked if I could work from home, and they said no, because this is not 2021, right? 2020 where people can work from home. It's not the normal now. It wasn't. So the answer was no, but I tried that before I left because I was like, what if I could work from home and do it at the same time? When I was told no, I finally got out the courage and I said, you know what, I'm gonna leave. And now when I left, it wasn't easy. Like the day I was gonna leave, I brought my buddy Rico with me and I was like, we gotta record this. And maybe you could share a little clip of us when we recorded that day when I voiced.
It's crazy, man.
How'd it go?
It went really well. He took it very well.
Really?
He just wanted to know if I was going to a competitor, which I'm not.
Oh yeah.
So he started his journey in 2017. I believe he released his video 2 years ago, so that was 2022. So 5 years later, and this was a big part of his story. So it goes back to what I said earlier. All traders experience the same thing, just at different times.
And so, man, I was shaking.
But on that day, when I walked up there, I mean, I felt good for a moment. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm about to leave this place. And when I actually got to the CEO's desk and sat in front of him, I was freaking in panic mode. My heart was pounding. I was like, my mind was saying, what are you doing? Like, you worked your butt off to reach this. I was a partner at a firm at the time, at a partner level, and now you're gonna leave it? You're an idiot. And then the other part of me is like,
you'll never be happy.
you know, I was like,
You need to do what you need to do.
I had it all planned out what I was going to say, and I was just.
It's funny because when I was working for a very large company in human resources, and they were offering me like promotions and different positions and stuff like this. And I'm telling them like, hey, I want to go a different direction. I want to go into finance. I don't think I was as nervous as he was. Um, I left in really good standing. They had a very positive view of me, and I showed up and I did my job every day. I went above and beyond. I trained new employees. I would work on different special teams and stuff like that. So I knew it was just like I want to try something different. I want to, I want to go for change. So I wasn't nervous to tell them because once I came to the decision, I had already went through all the different emotions and all the different feelings. So it was like, this is what I'm doing. So at that point, I just had to verbalize it to them. So I wasn't nervous, going into it. I did have somebody from high level upper management, just a couple spots away from the CEO, call me, kind of talked to me, asked me what my plan was. And I told him, and he was like, hey, if you ever want to come back, call me directly. I want you on my team if you ever come back. So that it felt good when I was leaving, just to know how they viewed me and that I did my job every day. I showed up and I left a good imprint on the company that I was with at the time. But this is kind of funny how nervous he was.
As soon as I started, I just said, once I gave him a resignation, he took it very well. He was put off. He didn't know that was going to happen. So I left on a good note, but I have a rush of adrenaline. I'm excited, and now I'm off to the new journey part of my new life. So I'm excited. So now nothing holding me back.
When I left, I had a huge rush of adrenaline. I left the office, ran downstairs.
This is every person who ever quit a job to go trade. You are super hype, so excited, just ready to get started on that next journey, the next part of your journey, I should say.
Said what's up to Rico. We were just excited, and we thought, or at least I thought, man, this is the day where I'm about to be the best day trader in the world.
Man, this is so true. This is every person who looks at trading, especially if that first trade you have, that first trade goes well, and you it's like fool's gold because you make a lot of money very fast. Like, I think my first trade that I made a decent amount of money, I was trading options. I don't remember if it was Amazon or if it was Apple. I think it was Apple. I entered into a swing trade going into earnings, and I just bought the upside, and Apple was running up. I think I was up like $1,100 after the first day. I was like, man, I'm gonna be a millionaire by the end of this year. So that laugh he had, that feeling, I felt all of that. So let's keep going. Oh, also, by the way, those options, I probably spent $200 on the contracts. So, I mean, I was just up crazy right away.
Boy, was I wrong.
And how's it been going so far on the trades and stuff?
So I took a break for a while until I get this handled, and now I'm starting fresh, starting July. July, I'm gonna start trading again, and then I'll record and document my journey and make sure I get better by watching my own videos, so I can get better off of it.
So crazy. I missed that point the first couple of times I saw this video, but when I started my trading journey, I gave my notice at the very beginning of June. My last day was the last day of June. So I think it was leading into like a Friday or something like that. So I think July 3rd or right around the holiday or right after the holiday was my first trading day. So that's funny. His time started in July as well, which what I know now, that's a very rough time to start in the market.
Now you're probably thinking, what about your wife? Did you explain it to anyone else?
And your family know about it?
My mom and dad does, yeah.
What'd they say?
They support me. They're like, you got to go for it. And my wife supports me 100%, so it's exciting.
That's dope.
I did not explain it thoroughly, like, hey, I'm gonna quit today. It was just like in the air. I was like, yeah, I'm not really happy. I'm thinking about leaving. And she knew I saved up and stuff. And she's like, well, you can always find another job. And that was the conversation. It was never like, I'm gonna leave and do my own thing, like, and just cold turkey, like out of the blue. But I did. So that's what I ended up doing. I didn't go into detail and let my spouse know, although she tells me that I should have. And I agree with her. I should have informed her because there's an actual interview with me and her where she explains what it was like to go through this whole journey with me. And it was stressful for both of us, but for her as well. So after I left, my plan was to trade
small.
And then once I find out what works, start sizing up. Now, keep in mind, I didn't know much about trading. And at the time, I thought I knew a lot. Okay, so like Now looking back 4 years later, I can tell that I didn't know a thing. I didn't know anything. The less you know, the more you think you know. Is pretty much the truth, and definitely the truth in my case. And so I thought it's gonna be easy. You know, I trade.
That's so true what he's saying right now. When you have that early success in trading, no matter what market you're trading, if you're trading stocks, trading options, whatever it is, you have that extreme confidence and you don't know what you don't know. But what you learn over time is you probably know 3% of what you're actually going to learn about trading at that time. So you have your confidence is at 100%, your knowledge level is at 3%, and you're going in with these high expectations, and things will get rocky.
Eyes up in the next 3 months, and I was like, by the end of the year, I'll be making what I was making as a partner. I ended up losing money that year. I didn't make anything. There was moments where on the 6-month mark where I was like really depressed just for like 2-3 days straight though, where I was just like crying. And because I felt like an idiot for leaving something that was so good to me in terms of financially to pursue something that I had no idea, just cold turkey. And that was constantly in my head, like, you gotta start over. What were you thinking? And all the people who I told, like, who found out, right, who knew I left my job, they were like, why would you do that? I was just visualizing their faces like, oh, you're not, we told you, like something like that. And so it would.
This is that psychological journey that you go through, especially in those first couple years of trading. And this right here, this is the reason why I say you shouldn't quit your job. The reason why is because when you start fighting yourself on the decisions that you made to get to that point, it's just really going to throw off your trading. And if you hear, he expressed how he went into like a depression and things like that. So for me, to avoid those things, if you go into trading, you want to go into trading a lot more structured. And with the help of someone who trades for a living as a mentor, and I'm not even saying it has to be paid or anything like that, just, where you can find information or you can have someone say, hey, these are the pitfalls. This is where I messed up. And if I could go back to the beginning, this is where I would change it. So quick example about that is I went into the market trading options. Options is something that you trade during the New York Open. So my job, I was working a 9 to 5. So the market is open from 9 to 4. So I was working the entire time. And basically I felt kind of like, okay, if I want to pursue this, I'm not going to be able to pursue this while doing my job. What I didn't know is that if I would have pursued something like futures, I could have traded other markets, so other times, and it would have potentially worked out better for me. So I could have traded the London Open. I could have traded the Asian market open. So potentially I could have kept my job longer doing the same position I was in, good standing with a great company, and still pursue trading. And those psychological things that I was fighting, when I did fight them, it wouldn't have been as long, because the issue that you run into is exactly what he just said. You run into the issue of, I left guaranteed, I left a salary, I left bonuses every year, I left a thriving company with opportunities for growth and moving up to the unknown. And the unknown is where you can really lose yourself. And you hear he went through depression. He really kind of lost himself. So that is my full answer of why I would say don't quit your job where you're thriving, where you have success. Find the market or time that you can trade that works better for you to do it on a part-time basis while you still maintain a full-time job, especially something that's successful if you're more in a career. So if you're in a career, you definitely want to maintain that career and that income, and your trading life will be a lot easier because you already have that success somewhere else.
Really get on me. And I could not shake it. And I couldn't shake it for the remaining 6 months of my training at that point. And so I was constantly thinking about trying to make my money back because I wanted to prove to everyone out there that I could trade. And that's the wrong way to think, by the way, because you need to prove to yourself that you could trade. You need to just focus on you, because now, looking back, where I am today If I could go back there, I would say, hey, don't worry about anybody else. This is a game of you versus you. Learn how to master your own psychology and your own mentality, and you can become a great trader. I might not listen to him. I'd be like, what are you talking about? There should be a...
That's a really great point he just made right there. Trading is you versus you. You're going to fight yourself a lot. You're going to fight your decisions. You're going to question a lot of things. There's a lot of uncertainty with your mind. So to move forward in trading, you definitely have to be one of those people. You almost have to take on an athlete's mentality, like a professional athlete, where if you were a pitcher in baseball, you give up a home run in the first inning to the second batter, you still got a whole game to pitch. So you can't be a person who lets that home run weigh them down because you won't have any success. If you are a cornerback in football and a receiver gets a big play on you, you're going to line up for that next play like that play just didn't happen. And you need to be able to do that to a certain degree to move forward in how you process things in trading. Because more than just everybody kind of hides everything under the psychological blanket, but it's also how you process things and how you process situations that happen to you. And that's where you can really get caught up. So it's just something you gotta be careful with.
pattern that works all the time and I just trade that pattern and I always make money. If you're thinking that, you may not believe me either, but I'm gonna tell you right now that's not true. It takes time. Patterns evolve, they change. So you gotta work on yourself so you can always adapt and change and grow, just like as the market grows. So as I was coming up to my last month, and I knew I had to get a job. So about 2 months before that last month, I decided, let me find something because I'm not doing good. I'm not making money, I'm losing money, and this sucks. Luckily, I ended up finding a competitor in my old firm and applied, got the exact same pay position. So I was very, very lucky, okay? I was very lucky. And immediately didn't skip a beat. I made exactly what I was making back then and it felt great. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go work and I'm gonna save up. That was the plan. I was like, I'm gonna go back to work and I'm gonna save up another year's worth of income because I wanna go at this again. So that was the plan going in. After I started that job, I saved up quickly as fast as possible, another year's worth of income. And this time I told my wife and she was prepared. She was like, okay, I understand, I support you. And I was so thankful for that. But she was like, you better have a plan and you better stick to that plan. And I said I would, but we know how that goes, right? You'll find out in just a second. But what I will say is that second time of leaving was easier. Like I was not shaky. I was not freaking out. I just went in and said, all right, I'm just gonna let you know this is my last 2 weeks. And then in that industry, you don't do your 2 weeks, you're just out the next couple of days. I was out pursuing trading. And as soon as I did that, I went in with the plan. The plan, let me tell you the plan. There's two plans, okay? The first plan was the plan me and my wife discussed. It was, I'm gonna start off paper trading, then I'm gonna trade real small, and then I'm gonna gradually grow. Let me tell you what actually happened. I traded real money right away. I said, I got it.
Man, what he just said is so true. That's the process everybody takes. And with me, when I initially started trading, I never paper traded. I didn't attempt my first paper trade until I was in the market for maybe a year and a half, getting close to that 2-year mark. Because the time I entered the market, late 2019, like December 2019, I was still working during this time, but December 2019, we're going into the pandemic, and 2020, the market is going crazy. It's an election year, which I didn't know that had an impact on the market. Also, throughout the pandemic, the last 9 to 10 months of Donald Trump's presidency, he always would say at a lot of his press conferences, the stock market is doing well, the economy is doing well. And I just didn't understand at the time the difference that made. So it put a level of confidence into the market makers, and the market just was going up. It was just going up and going up and going up. So all those factors made a big difference into how people traded and what they traded. So no one talked about paper trading because people would have simple strategies. I remember their strategy, the swing strategy, where they would buy contracts and they will only go based on contract volume. So for instance, if they were to swing trade in Bank of America and it was January and they saw that the contracts in July at a higher price point had a ton of volume, they would just buy calls long-term calls because they saw that high volume and they would just sell once it got closer to July and they would be up. So a very basic strategy, had nothing to do with the charts or anything. So that's how simple it was for people to trade during that time.
This. I don't need paper trading. Paper trading, that's for noobs, right? Like that's for people who don't know how to trade. That's for people who have egos, right? And that's what it was making me make that decision to just trade real money, which is the worst thing you could ever do, especially if I showed that I can't do it in the first year. But I went ahead and did it. And the only good thing I did is I reviewed.
All right, so we're getting close to the 30-minute mark. This is where I like to cap off these episodes. So go check out. It's about 4 minutes left of this video. It's Be the Trader. His name is here. I quit my job 3 times. This is from a couple years ago, but it's still it's going to be new traders entering different markets who this resonates with. So that's why I want to cover it. This video helped me a lot. Now let's check out some of the content. So remember, comments. This video is from 2022. Someone commented a month ago. I quit once to day trade and failed. 4 years later, I'm trying again after much more experience. Says this is hilarious and also very relatable. Thanks, man, for sharing. Life-changing video. Love hearing your adventure. So as you see, even if you go back a year, everybody can relate to this, or majority of the comments, they can relate to this. So, oops, kind of scrolled up too far. That's the comments. So let me know what you think in the comments about this video. Let me know if you face anything similar throughout your trading journey, the ups, the downs, depression, the different phases of emotion. Just let me know what you think about it. I've experienced majority of the things he's talked about. When he gets to the end of the video, I'll give you a little spoiler. He does mention that for him, trading works better when he's actually has a job and he's bringing in the income. And I function the same way. So when I actually have an income, I trade better. When I had no income outside of trading, that's my main focus. I put so much pressure into every trade. It was almost like every trade was a life-changing decision, and that was too much pressure. So once I started having the income outside of trading, then I was able to, go into trades. I was able to see this is a good day to trade. This is a good opportunity to trade. I was able to acquire more knowledge in trading. I was able to learn new things once I got the monkey off my back of having income. So having income throughout your trading journey is extremely important, and it's something that I would tell every person. If you do want to pursue trading, you have to be able to pursue trading while maintaining your lifestyle. And you do that by working in your career, your profession, your job that you currently have. So that's my takeaway on this video. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon to be updated on when I release new content. And we'll be back with another one. Peace.